One of the biggest surprise opening weekends for a movie this year is this small, independent, neon-released horror thriller film called Longlegs that I was able to catch this film at a 9 a.m. showtime at a Cinemark because I did not want to get this movie ruined. And I watched the movie exactly the way it was supposed to be intended. Everyone in the auditorium, which was like 6 people, were extremely quiet. Longlegs is definitely worth the hype and is one of my favorite movies of the year so far. What I loved so much about this film is that it is a typical indie horror film where it takes its time. It has more of a dramatic element to it. It has really great characters. The ambiance, the tone of the film is much more of a deliberately slow burn, as a lot of people would call it, but that's exactly what I want, and it's so much better than your typical mainstream horror films. Let's just dive right into this film, and I do have to start with the performances. Maika Monroe is excellent in this movie, and she was the perfect choice as this detective. She was great. She was riveting from start to finish. She is in almost in every single scene. I haven't seen her in too many films, but I would say this is probably the best performance that I have seen from her. As you guys probably already know, I am a big fan of Nicolas Cage. I have this shirt, and I was really excited to see what his performance was going to be like, because in the marketing for this film, you sort of see the back when you see his long hair and sort of the outfit he's wearing. I thought he was incredible. He was truly horrifying in his performance. He had that Heath Ledger Joker presence. I thought he was absolutely incredible and played the perfect villain. This is easily one of the craziest performances I have seen from him, and it was legendary. As you guys know, I love a film that has incredible cinematography. It's one of the things that I'm really biased toward. This film has some of the best cinematography I have seen this year. This movie is so captivating with its excellent direction from Osgood Perkins, with so many wide and disturbing shots in this movie. There are characters that are standing there, but it's off-centered like you would see in a mainstream horror film, but you're waiting to see what's going to go on in the background. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. The shot itself is disturbing. It makes you feel weird and uncomfortable, just like the main character in the film. One of the more controversial elements of this film is with the story and the screenplay, but I found the story of this film to be so captivating. This movie has so many little Easter eggs and foreshadows that if you're not paying attention, you're not going to get all of it, because I did predict quite a bit of this movie, but I do feel that the writing of this film is really good. This film has a couple of flashbacks that I found to be really fascinating and exciting to watch, especially when it comes to play later on in the film. This is also one of those films where the screenplay doesn't give you everything up front, where you sit and watch this film and just take it all in, and you uncover more as you go along. Easily the biggest question that horror movie fans have when they go into seeing a new horror film is this movie scary? Well, to me, I found this movie to be really scary, but in the way that it's really psychologically disturbing, as there are some really gruesome and horrifying scenes in this film. This isn't one of those stupid, lazy, jump scare horror movies, so if that's what you're looking for, then this is not it. This is a very mature, well thought out, well put together, well acted, an amazing horror film. Unfortunately, I do have quite a few criticisms with this film, as the third act of this film flies by so fast. It is all over the place with so much violence and kills all in one that you would think like, oh, Brad, that sounds really cool. But when the whole pace of this film is very slow and deliberate, this just feels like a thrown together reshoot that left me feeling really empty. It left me thinking like, wow, was this movie as good as I thought it was going to be? But the final climax of this film really only lasts around 6 to 7 minutes. Everything I watched before was still great. It was just this last 6 to 7 minutes that just were not great. One of the other issues I have with this film was with the music. There are moments in this movie where the score plays in the most annoying possible way that it does feel like it wasn't supposed to be in these particular scenes. A moment that happens before the final climax where Osgood Perkins decides to write a scene where they basically describe how Longlegs does all of his killings in detail to the point where there's no mystery to it. That's what I love so much about the first two acts of this movie, because you don't really know how the killer Longlegs does what he does, and they show it in so much detail that there is no point of even trying to theorize or trying to think about like, oh, maybe he could have done this, or how does this make sense? And I was so disappointed because I didn't need to see that. Where the first two acts of this film actually felt challenging and interesting and more engaging to figure out what's going on and how Longlegs is able to do what he does. Overall, Longlegs was a fantastic, well-made, well-put together, and really disturbing horror film. This is a very atmospheric film that you don't want to get spoiled. You want to be locked in from start to finish with its beautiful cinematography and amazing direction from Osgood Perkins. This is one of those films that is going to be talked about in the years to come, and I already think it is a horror classic, and I'm so glad that people are going out into supporting this film, and that is due to the amazing marketing by Neon. I am giving Longlegs an 8 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for checking out this review. As I want to know below in the comment section, have you seen Longlegs, and what are your spoiler-free thoughts on it? I would love to hear all about it. Before you guys check out this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a like as you always should, and ring that notification bell so I can see you all in the following video, and I will see you at the movies.